And now we will solve a real-world problem. A landscaper plans to install 2 new paths in a park. The new fountain path will be perpendicular to the east path and lead to the fountain. The new picnic path will be parallel to the fountain path and pass through the picnic area. What are the equations in point slope form that represents the new path? First, we will need to find the points for the picnic area and for the fountain area. So for the picnic area, we have here 5 and 6. So it's 5. Let me try. Picnic area is 5, 6 for the coordinates, and for the fountain, we have 15 and 2. So the coordinate for that is 15, 2. Now, the first step is to formulate. The east path passes through points 0, 2, and 5, 3. Find the slope of the line that the east path represents. When we have these 2 points, we remember the equation in order to solve for the slope, which is m equals y2 minus y1 divided over x2 minus x1. And so we can go back to these points right here and label these x1, y1 for the first point, and then x2, y2 for the second point. And then we'll just plug those numbers in. So for y2, it's 3 and minus y1, 2 over x2 is 5 minus 0 for x1. 3 minus 2 is 1 over 5. And so this is the slope for the east path. The next step is to compute and interpret. With the slope of the east path, determine the equations for the fountain and the picnic path. So if we go back up here, let's go back to blue. The fountain path needs to be perpendicular to the east path. And the picnic path needs to be parallel to the east path. Or no, parallel to the fountain path. Let's solve for the fountain path first. So we can take the slope of the east path, which is 1 over 5, and do the opposite reciprocals because it needs to be perpendicular. Which is negative run over rise. And plug in the numbers, which is minus 5 over 1. Or to simplify that, we will have minus or negative 5. And so we have the slope for y equals mx plus b. So y equals minus 5x plus b. And now we remember that it needs to lead to the fountain over here. And the coordinate point was 15, 2, so we can put in 2 for y and 15 for x, so that we can find the y-intercept or the b. 2 equals minus 5 times 15. I can show you the work here. Times 5 times 1 is plus 7, plus 2 equals to 7. 75, and carry down minus, and we have minus 75. And then we can erase that afterwards. And the next step is to add 75 in both sides. These two cancel each other out. 75 plus 2 is 77. And now we have our y-intercept. So the equation for the fountain path is y equals to minus 5x plus 77. And this was perpendicular to the east path. And now I won't have much space for when we solve for the picnic path, so I would have to erase this whole thing, but you guys can keep that on your notes. Now we are solving for the picnic path. So I erased all my work for the fountain path down here, and you guys might not have room in your papers, so either write it on the sides, turn your paper sideways and write it on the sides, or you can go all the way up here and draw an arrow and do your work on this part, on the very top of your page. Okay. So for the picnic path, it needs to be parallel to the fountain path. And remember that the fountain path, our equation was y equals to 5x plus 77. And when it's a parallel, we know that we have the same slope, the same m. And so this is pretty easy. So picnic path, our y equals to mx plus b would have 5 as the slope, and we remember that the picnic path has to go through the picnic area, which is right over here in the coordinate points 5, 6. So we will plug in 6 for y and 5 for x plus b. And so when we solve out for b, we have 6 equals to 5 times 5 is 25 plus b. The next step is to subtract 25 minus 25. Then cancels each other out. And then 6 minus 25 is minus 19. And that's our b. And when we put this all together in our equation, we have y equals 5x minus 19. So it's pretty easy for when we solve for picnic path. But this y equals 5x minus 19 is the equation for the picnic path. And parallel to the fountain path. And that concludes our notes for 2-4.